Hello, I'm Mel Crafting and welcome to my YouTube channel. For more information on what I do, be sure to visit my blog melcrafting.blogspot.com. This video is a tutorial on how to make a background using small stamps. Often our stamp sets come with little images like these stars in this stamp set by My Favorite Things called hand-lettered holiday stamps. There are also these stars and moons from this space theme set. And just like in this birthday celebration stamp set, it's got those little stars, and I'll also be using these stars from this Christmas stamp set. Those last three stamp sets I got off AliExpress. This is my We Are Memory Keepers stamping platform and an acrylic block that I use to store the little stamps I'm going to use for this background, just so I don't lose them. Now I've gone ahead and I've placed those little stamps on the door of my stamping platform, and they're positioned in one corner of my note card. And I'm just going to use some washi tape now to adhere down my note card that I'm going to stamp on for my background. And I'm just using a standard A6 sized navy blue navy blue cardstock. Put my anti-static powder tool on so that once I've inked and I come to put on my heat embossing powder, it only sticks to where I'm putting my clear embossing ink. As you saw, I was just inking up my stamps with my clear embossing ink. I closed the door on my stamping platform and I just repeat stamp that to get a good impression. Now I've positioned them in the corner so I can turn my note card upside down and re-stamp as those stamps are positioned. And that's just going to save me some time. So I re-ink it with my clear embossing ink. Close the door on my stamping platform and make sure to press down to get a good image. I re-ink. So I do this twice. I re-ink and press down. And it didn't quite stamp very well, that star or in the corner, so I just re-press that down. I'm just going to bring in a baby wipe and clean those stamps up before I take my note card off and add some embossing powder. Now when I put my embossing powder on, I do it over a sheet of non-stick baking paper, which I have a crease in the middle, so you can see the valley fold down the middle of that piece of paper. And that will be used to collect and restore the powder in a minute. But here I am sprinkling all the clear embossing powder over my images that I've just stamped. And I'm being very liberal to get good coverage. And I just tip it off. And when I think I've got good coverage there, I just tap off the excess. And here you'll see me use that valley fold in the paper to recollect all that embossing powder that I didn't use and put it back in the container. It just pours and glides smoothly off that non-stick baking paper, just like that. Just put the lid back on, use it for the next round. So I've gone ahead and I've used my heat tool to melt that embossing powder. And I've brought back my stamping platform and my background because I'm just going to fill in those gaps. So you'll see in a minute, I'll just adhere this down first. But you'll see me grab the smaller stamps off the left and place them to fill in the gaps. And I'm just going to fast forward this in a moment so it's not too boring for you guys. But you see I try and cover the whole note card so I get a good background. And once again I close the door on my stamping platform to collect those stamps. Press to make sure I collect them. And then I grab my clear embossing ink those stamps up, ink them as well as I can. And once again, close the door, press really well to make sure I get a good impression on all those stamps. Once again, I'll use a baby wipe to clean them up, and I've now bring back in my non-stick baking paper and my clear embossing powder. So I'm now going to cover those extra images, once again using my embossing powder liberally all over the note card, making sure I get all of those new images that are stamped. But as I pour it off, you can see which ones are the newly stamped ones. So tip it off, give it a little tap. Careful not to touch any of that powder that hasn't been melted yet. And I've gone away and I've heat set that using my heat tool. And that is my tutorial on how to make a background using small stamps and clear heat embossing. For more information on this tutorial or other card making and crafty things I'm up to, please visit my blog at melcrafting.blogspot.com. Of course, if you like what you see here, please subscribe and check out the rest of my channel for crafty product reviews, sneaky crafty tips, and card process videos. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again.